Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this brief description of how to start a gratitude practice. Now, I'm going to make a pretty good guess that most everyone who's listening is probably really good at saying thank you. Hopefully, we all know how to do that. That's not what this is. This is a little bit different. It's an intentional practice where you bring gratitude into your life each day in a special way. And here's why. First of all, our minds are super good for the most part at noticing when things go wrong. That's actually a good thing. That helps keep us safe. I want my mind to keep noticing when something's wrong. Don't walk into that hole in the ground, right? I want my mind to notice that. But it's also, as it turns out, extremely useful and even healthy for us when we notice the things that are good. So how do you do that? But first, let me just say it's been studied a lot, and it's been found that a gratitude practice is a great way to, to just help us turn our minds to the positive things. And it turns out that studies show us that this is good for our bodies, our minds, and interestingly, our relationships. It helps us to be, I'm going to read these, helps us to be more forgiving, more easily supported by others. It helps us to have a stronger immune system, of all things, helps us to have a higher level of positive emotions, which we were just talking about, and it helps us to be more resilient to stress. So many benefits, and there are others that I haven't even listed here. So here's how it works. Each day, actually each evening before you go to bed, your job will be to look back at your day, just in broad terms. You don't want to get into too much detail or you'll never get to sleep. So you think back about today and you see if you can come up with 3 things that you're grateful for. Now, these can be big things or little things, doesn't matter. Just come up with 3 things. I'm going to give you some examples. Here's a little thing. Oh, by the way, one of the rules of this game, if you will, is to be very specific about what you come up with. So it's not just in general, I like something. It's what happened today that makes me like it. Okay. So here are examples. I happen to like the way it looks when sunlight comes in through the window. I think it's really pretty. I like to look at that. But I need to be specific and say, I like the way it looked when the sunlight came in through my window this afternoon while I was working at my desk, and the sunlight kind of lit the side of my desk and the plant that's on it, and I'm grateful for that. Okay, that's one. Another one might be, I was playing with my dog earlier, and I might want to say, I'm grateful for my dog, but that would be really general. So I'd want to say, this morning I'm grateful for when I was playing with my dog and he came up really close and he pushed his side against me to kind of give me a rub and a hug. I'm grateful for that. So that's my specific gratitude for my dog. Or, for example, if I want to say I'm grateful for my brother, I would say, to make it specific, I would say, I'm grateful for my brother. I was grateful for my brother today when he called me up this morning because he wanted to tell me that he was in town and that I was going to get to see him soon. So it was really great to hear from him. So that's my 3 gratitudes. Now there's one more part to this practice. Research shows that it's more effective if you write them down. Now, this does not need to be paragraphs or a journal entry about each thing. It's 3 bullet points. 1, sunlight on my desk this morning. 2, petting the dog when he rubbed against me. 3, my brother when he called me this morning. That's it. They're my 3 things. I've written them down. Or pretend I have. But that's what you should do. You should write them down. And after you do that, the next step is, there are no next steps. You just go to bed. At least it's a nicer way to go to bed, remembering 3 things you're grateful for than 3 things you're worried about. And here's how it becomes a practice. What I would ask you to do is see if you can just make a commitment in your own mind. I'm going to try this out for 2 weeks, every day for 2 weeks. And then at the end of 2 weeks, what I would ask you to do is to look back and notice, say, how did that work for me? did I start noticing more positive things during the day just because my mind knew that I was going to ask it again that night? And what the neuroscientists have found out, and I think this is so interesting, is that if we start um, embracing a habit like this, and we're going to do it every day, and my mind knows Judy is going to ask me tonight, then my mind begins to notice positive things during the day. So it's ready to come up with three things that I'm grateful for. Isn't that great? So you can just do the practice and your mind automatically begins to turn toward positive things. There's a saying in the Buddhist tradition that goes like this: where we direct our attention becomes the inclination of the mind. And that's what the neuroscientists have found is true. So as we begin to direct our attention regularly to what we're grateful for, then our mind will incline toward that. I'll say the quote again: where we direct our attention becomes the inclination of our minds. So I hope you enjoy this. You can do it on your own. You could do it with a buddy if you have somebody that would like to do it with you. But however you do it, I wish you well with your practice. Thank you for joining me.